Hey everybody, it's another beautiful day in Ohio, and we're here for This Moment in Music with Hal Walker. It's a laid-back musical exploration of the creative process, and we're in for a treat today. Rewild Your Soul, a handpan player from Massachusetts, is here. If you're new, write new in the comments, and if you got any great ideas, put them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. So thanks for being here. Welcome. I'm running just a couple minutes late. I'll be there in a second. Okay, let's get this thing started. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, This Moment in Music, we're back. Yes, thanks so much for being here. Savannah, U.S. Grant 2B, Kid Jet, set the alarm to get here on time. Thanks so much. We're in for a treat today. You know, I had a great idea yesterday and I want to share it with you. I've been having so many good ideas lately. It's kind of making me a little crazy. I was out in the garden and I just kept having these ideas, and sometimes all the ideas can be a little overwhelming, but I want to share this particular idea with you. So it was several friends and I, oh here, hold on a second, let me just fix that, there we go. Several friends and I were hanging out in a bar in Kent, Ohio, back in the early 2000s. And just for fun, we tried to list as many of the counties in the state of Ohio as we could list. And as someone who, as a musician, I travel all around the state of Ohio, I could only list two. I knew Portage County, Summit County, and maybe Cuyahoga. So that night, you know, my grandfather was, believe it or not, a tax collector from Alabama. And he had all the counties in Alabama memorized. There we go. He knew them all. Well, I decided I was going to go home that night and write a song that incorporates all 88 counties of Ohio. So I went home, I got out a map of Ohio, which is right there, and a pair of binoculars. And I looked up in the top right-hand corner, top northeast corner of Ohio, and I saw Ashtabula County. And I started singing right down the eastern side of the state. I sang, Ashtabula, Trumbull, Mahoning, and Columbiana, Jefferson, Belmont, and Monroe. And amazingly, I'd made it all the way down to the bottom of the state. So I went back up to the top, and I sang, Lake, Geauga, Summit, Portage, Stark, Tuscarawas, Carroll, Harrison, Guernsey, Noble, and Washington. Well, I spent the next couple weeks writing this big puzzle of a song, and I ended up finishing the song. It's called My State, Ohio, and I've taught it to hundreds of fourth graders around the state of Ohio, and my hope is that someday students all over Ohio will be singing the 88 counties. So just so you can get an idea of what an awesome song it is, here's a few friends and I singing just a little piece of it.
These are the counties of my state, Ohio. I offer them to you to sing along. The names that I'm sounding, there's 88 that I know, and they all come together to form a song. Won't you sing along? Cuyahoga, Lorraine, Medina, Wayne, Ashland, Holmes, and Knox, Coshocton, Muskingum, Morgan, Athens, and Bath. Erie and Huron, Richland, Morrow, Licking, Fairfield, Perry, Hocking, Linton, Jackson, Gallia.
So that's the song, the 88 counties of Ohio. So here's the next part of the story. We're eventually getting to the big idea. So I I've been enjoying making these choral videos, these virtual videos where I send out choral parts to people all around my town, and they take a video of themselves and then they send it back to me, and I make this little virtual choir. And so I want to share something I've done recently. This is the song that you've all heard. This is our closing song of this show. It's called Go On Your Way in Peace. And this last week I made this. I sent out this song to some young children, and they replied and sent me back these videos. And here's the video. It's called Go On Your Way in Peace. This is leading up to the finale of my story.
You've got a light inside you. Go on your way in peace. So shine that light, the light inside you. Go on your way in peace. The world is waiting in the hope of another day. She will carry you safely through the stumbles and the falls on your way. Just remember that I'm loving you and you're loving me. So as you go, won't you go on your way now in peace? Light inside you, go on your way in peace. So shine that light, the light inside you, go on your way in peace. The world is waiting in the hope of another day. She will carry you safely through the stumbles and falls on your way. Just remember that I'm loving you and you're loving me. So as you go, won't you go on your way now in peace? So as you go, won't you go on your way now in peace?
Yeah, isn't that sweet? Well, here's the big idea I had. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I've got 88 voices from the state of Ohio, one child from each county. One child from each county would send me a video of them singing the 88 counties, and I would compile it into this mass choir, this mass Ohio choir of young voices. And I just love that idea so much, and I reached out to the Ohio Arts Council, my friend Donna at the Ohio Arts Council. I left a message for her. Donna, how can you help me connect with one fourth grader from every county in Ohio? And I even I called the guys at WAPS, the summit in Akron, and I said, hey, I left a message, and I left a message, and I said, hey guys, I have this idea. I wonder how you can help make it happen. Because my 88 county song they play it on their radio station, and so I'm really interested in this idea of getting one fourth grader from every county in Ohio to be part of this video. So that is my story. That was my big idea yesterday, and I want to connect with you guys for a second. I see Carol Bailey Floyd is here. Thanks so much for joining us. That's really nice. I love it. And then apparently there's someone from Scotland. Emma, thank you so much for being here. Emma, what brings you here? How did you find out about this? Kiki's son is one of our regulars. Thanks so much for being here. Tube is a regular too. I'm so glad to have these regular people that just keep showing up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. And I'm hoping that eventually I'll really just sort of get a flow going, and I'll be real relaxed and real funny, and it's gonna be awesome. In the meantime, I'm still in that sort of awkward phase of just trying to get used to this. So we're going to move on now to our special guest, Rewild Your Soul. I started looking into the idea of buying a handpan, this pan drum, this drum that you play with your hands. It's made out of metal. And I started looking up videos on YouTube, and I found this guy, and I watched a bunch of his videos and just fell in love with his music. And then I found him on TikTok, and we've since connected, and we're going to hang out now. So here is a little introduction. This is a beautiful. Just everyone. I want to encourage you just to relax, sit back, lay back, and listen to the wonderful vibes of Rewild Your Soul and his friend playing to either the sunset or the sunrise. So here we go. There he is, Rewild Your Soul. Hey, Ricky.
Hey guys, how are you?
All right. I was so glad for that little moment there because it slowed me down. That's what I need to do. I just need to slow down, be in the moment with all of you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. That's kind of the beauty of bringing instruments outside, is it kind of forces you to engage with them in a different way than you normally would, inside the house or in a recording studio.
I spent a few days once out in the woods just with nothing around, and I watched how slowly the sun moves across the sky, and I was kind of amazed. It's like, wow, that sun really moves very slowly, and I'm usually moving much quicker than the sun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So you're you play the Rav Vast. Can you tell us something about that instrument, or maybe play it for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So the handpan is a precursor to the Rav, and obviously before that was the Trinidadian steel drum. But the Rav Vast is a little bit different than a handpan in that rather than being tuned through tension in the steel, this is tuned through the weight and the size of the tongues. Mm-hmm. So the slits in this instrument, I don't know how well you can see it, each vibrate individually. Mm-hmm. So the primary note, and then there's an octave and a fifth, and then 6 other notes in some of these tongues. So it's vibrating as a whole, and it's vibrating individually. So it's really rich, and it's just a really beautiful instrument, and it's durable. So if I'm hiking somewhere or going up a mountain, I can just throw this in my bag and not worry about it breaking or anything.
That's great. It's
so I got involved with these maybe 6 years ago, and handpans probably 9 years ago. But I'm in love very much with both instruments.
Would you play us something?
Absolutely.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, you got in the flow there. That was nice. I like that. You know, a big part of this show is talking about the creative process. What would you say to someone who wants to be more creative? Like someone comes to you and says, "You seem like a creative guy." What do you do? You know, how do I be more creative? You have any ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, when I'm in kind of a creative flow, it's usually when I'm moving outside what I typically do, whether that's physically bringing an instrument somewhere else, or whether that's trying to avoid patterns that I usually use, or even for a handpan or a rap, turning the instrument around, just reorienting either your body or the instrument or your thought process and patterns. For me, that usually is enough to break out of it. And I'm always thinking of music and melodies and tunes, so sometimes just having that going in your head is enough to help extract a new melody that might develop into a song. And also, I started playing guitar 15, 16 years ago, so that was my primary instrument for most of my life. So my technique for remembering what I was creating was I would record everything I came up with, even if it was just a short little phrase, or I would document it. And through the act of documenting it, I could go back. So whether that it was on cassettes back in the day, little tape recorders, and now obviously on, whatever electronic recording device I have, but having those phrases, especially on these instruments, allows you to develop something beyond what you started with and not lose that. Because sometimes when you're in a flow, you can't pull that back into your normal state. So I find it useful to record everything that I do.
You know, one thing that I often find useful is to give myself limitations. Like, for instance, I have a handpan. I'll go get it in a second, and I limit myself to just a couple of the notes. Like on the piano, I might limit myself to just, let's say I limit myself to these 3 black notes. Now, those are some pretty fancy rhythms there, but it was just 3 black notes. That's my limitation. How much music can I make with just three black notes? So I'm going to go get my handpan. Would you just entertain our audience for about a couple seconds?
Absolutely. I'll play you something else. This is also a handpan. This is a rap pan, so made by the same company. That's beautiful.
These things are quite impressive on the screen. In fact, let's put ours up side by side. It's really a... Whoa! Oh my gosh!
Oh
man,
no!
Everything just fell apart. My chamomile tea fell on the ground. I hope I didn't injure the handpan.
I hope not.
Oh,
that's the only downside to handpans is the mindfulness.
It still works.
Tuning.
It still works. So let's put them up side by side, just so they can see the enormity. Wow.
And then this one has back notes, and yours has back notes too, right?
Yeah, it does.
Nice.
There's the hole on the back.
Nice.
So let me just give a quick introduction to limiting myself to one note, the center note. What's that center note called, by the way?
The ding.
The ding. The ding.
Yes.
You know, that reminds me, I've always been a guy that plays drums on whatever I can touch. Like, and I was once in this staff meeting. I had a children's choir rehearsal, and I was playing drums on the table, And the woman across from me said, "Hal, would you please stop? Would you please stop playing the drums on the table?" And I said, "Okay, sorry."
It's not a bad thing to carry music wherever you go, though.
So here's another question I've got for you.
Yes.
What do you find most challenging in terms of your own creative process?
I think for me, there have been periods of my life where I've written something every single day, and there have been periods where I haven't written for 3 or 4 months. And I always try to be creating with whatever I'm doing, but I think for me, not getting stuck in the not writing habit is probably the hardest thing for me, because once you go for a little while without engaging as much in creating, I feel like you can get in the habit of not creating and just playing the same stuff. Because for me, the beauty and magic of instruments is writing on them. So I play only original music. I've never done any covers or anything. I just like the creative process. So
yeah,
it can be tough when that's not flowing. So I try my best to keep that going.
Hey, Ricky, speaking of the creative process, would you lower your head just a little bit? The very top of your head is cut off, and we want to see. There you go. That's nice. Yeah, I posted some some handpan music on TikTok, and one of the first comments was play Minecraft, and I said no, I refuse. And then I am open to trying some Minecraft, but I don't have time to learn all the covers. I have too many ideas of my own running around in my head.
That's how I feel too. I definitely understand that.
So do you make your living as a music teacher or a musician, or how do you what else do you do?
I'm a part-time musician, so I go and perform places and I teach. I have students that I do online and in person for the Rev and the handpan. But I also work in a alternative school, a middle alternative school.
Oh, nice.
And I teach English and history. So
cool.
Dual life, and I live on a farm, so I spend the rest of my time foraging and planting things, and it's a good life. I like the meshing of those activities. So,
when do you get your best ideas?
I would say late at night. I'm somebody who doesn't sleep all that much. I stay up pretty late. But I also like to get up early, so maybe at midnight, maybe at 1 o'clock. Sometimes, other times, if I'm up really early, I try to go out for a walk every day. So if I'm out in the morning right as the sun's coming up or right after it came up, that's usually a time that I feel inspired to create or write. Yeah.
And then tell us more about the handpan. Is it do you have different tunings sitting around? Like, does every handpan have its own character, or how many do you actually own, and how many do you have to, in order to express yourself fully? How many does one person have to have?
I think, like you said, the beauty of handpans and ravs and all of that is in the limitation. So the original instruments made by Pan Art usually had between 7 and 9 notes, I believe, and they created a bunch of different tunings when they first started building them. The next generation, they limited the tunings, and then their last offerings before they stopped making the hung, they only offered 1 tuning. So the interplay between limitation and creativity is kind of an interesting one. And the handpan and the rav forces you to create with less, which kind of like you were doing in your little example. It's an interesting process, because if you're used to chromatic instruments, it's very different to say, hey, here's eight notes in a probably minor key, create something with it. But for me, I like to try to create using different scales, but I find myself using this is an F pygmy, so it's like an F minor with another half step in it. I also like the D major scale a lot. Not many people like major scale handpans, but I like ones that I can sing to, or ones that I can create something that is cohesive and kind of wraps around. But cool. Handpans and ravs are kind of an obsession. So once you get involved in that, you want to try all the ones you possibly
can. There's no turning back.
No, it's a dangerous activity.
I know. I got my first one, and I'm gonna try and be satisfied with this one for a while because it's quite an investment, especially when you drop them on the floor and hit the tee and everything. That was a disaster, but I'm glad it happened with all of you. Hey, we have about 1 minute, so would you play one more little something on your instrument there?
Yes.
Thanks so much for being with us. By the way, I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me.
Nice. I love that chord change. That was cool. That was really cool.
That
do that one more time. Do that little chord change. That was so sweet. I don't know what you did, but I loved it. Yeah, that. Beautiful.
Yeah, I love that progression.
That's nice. Yeah, I got a long way to go. I got a lot to learn on this. I'm just one step at a time. Hey, Ricky, Rewild Your Soul, thank you so much. It's been nice hanging out with you. And in order to say goodbye, I'm going to introduce our guest on Friday is Inbar Heyman, who is a percussionist from Jerusalem. So we met also on TikTok, and she's going to come and bring her amazing percussion instruments. And let me play just a little introduction. So, Ricky, have a great day, and stick around. We'll talk after the show. All right. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's nice. She plays the banakulas, also known as the televi or the asalato. I'm going to carefully set this handpan down behind me. Oh my gosh. Uh-oh, there's another call coming in. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much. By the way, there's a website, thismomentinmusic.com. You can watch all the past shows. You can learn about all the guests, and please spread the word. It's so fun that all of you are showing up. Tube, thanks for being here again. Time is running so fast. It is, isn't it? And I'm glad that Jose and Savannah are going to connect. Jose apparently is going to give Savannah a call. That's really nice. And who else? I hope that Kid Jet. Thank you so much for the nice comments. Kid Jet Recon. And let's see. Curtis Thorpe had a question. Does that mean you can retune them by weighing down the tabs? You know what? You should go search for Rewild Your Soul on Instagram and ask him that question yourself. You know what? I just want to say one more thing. I discovered Instagram stories last night. I didn't know that existed, and I'm absolutely in love with it. I'm so tired of making Facebook posts, like posting on Facebook, but Instagram stories just like wham, bam. All of a sudden I can, throw together a little announcement, and I'm really excited. So follow me on Instagram, Hal Walker Music, and everyone, thank you so much. I'm going to close with one of our favorite songs. Feel free to sing along. You've got a light. Here, I'm going to change that. There we go. Sing along, everybody. I can't hear you. You've got a light inside you. Go on your way in peace. So shine that light, the light inside you. Go on your way in peace. The world is awaiting in the hope of another day. She will carry you safely through the stumbles and the falls on their way. Just remember that I'm loving you and you're loving me. So as you go, won't you go on your way now in peace? Yes, as you go, won't you go on your way now in peace? Thank you very much. We'll be back on Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Inbar Heyman from Jerusalem. Have a great day. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.